visitors, little fly visitors. So today is the air sign tarot readings. Which means that today we're going to be doing Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. This is the little stubby end of my incense. So I'll just burn it down a little bit. Alright, so the Bible verse for the reading today is from Psalms. Hallelujah, praise God in his sanctuary, praise him in the sky, his stronghold. And I will be using my usual tarot deck. So let's start with the sign of Gemini. This is going to be Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, North Node, whatever Gemini. Maybe you have Gemini in your 7th house. You want to find out about relationships or partnerships. And just go ahead and set your intention and allow any associated thoughts or ideas to rise up to the forefront of your mind. And wait there patiently while I deal with the cards. Actually, yeah, 2 want to come out for that one. Okay. Excuse me. I'll write down your timestamp. Gemini, here in the past, we have you showing up as this King of Swords in the reverse. So there could have been a time in the past where you had to use your finely tuned discernment. The King of Swords I also kind of associate with the Justice card and with the sign of Libra. Weighing all of the options thoroughly before moving forward. However, this card is reversed and it's in the past. So it's possible that you don't have to use your discernment quite as heavily now. Here in the place of the significator, we have that you have achieved some level of success and it has made you a target to other people. Now, we do have financial freedom and stability here in the Nine of Pentacles as our crossing card energy. So, Gemini, I can tell that you're successful in the current situation. And it's because of using this finely tuned discernment in the past. Here in the Imam Sealai, we have the light card. So there are hidden lies around you at this time. Everything is not as it appears to be. Let me make sure I'm reading that card properly. I think that is the meaning. Hidden truths. Okay. Key distinction. There are hidden truths. So you notice how this figure is looking down. They're not looking to source for information. Source is giving them the truth, the information. But they are not focused on that right now. They're focused on this puddle of ichor in which they are wallowing. So at this time, Gemini, there might be truths available to you that you're just not able to see yet. From your position, your perspective, we have the spider, and the spider is showing up in the reverse. So this is kind of associated with the Hermit card, because it's also 9. In the reverse, it has to do with entrapment. So there could be contracts involved. There could be tricky situations, possibly partnerships that have gone awry, because in the upright, the spider is seduction. So that inverse entrapment can have to do with situations where, because of a seduction, you might have ended up trapped. But remember these hidden truths around you. And it does look like you're in a pretty good position. Now, of course, the implication with that 7 of Wands is that you are being attacked and you are having to actively defend a position. From an outside perspective looking in, we have the 3 of Pentacles. This card is reversed. And it has to do with your professional reputation as well as your partnerships with other people in business relationships, working within groups. So where this is reversed, people from the outside looking in may not consider your professional reputation to be very good at this time, Gemini. But that doesn't necessarily matter. Again, you do have a lot going for you already. Here in the future, we have fellow air sign Aquarius's card, the star card. We have somebody pouring out this water onto the ground, and then they're pouring the water back into this pool. And again, like the Temperance card, they have 1 foot on land and 1 foot in the water. Different from the Temperance card, however, they are just pouring this ichor out wherever. It is not necessarily being contained, being controlled. It's spilling out, but the source is quite vast. Unlike the Temperance card, where the angel is containing that source between the two cups, here you see that the source, we don't know how big that is. It could be oceans and oceans wide. And that represents the emotional influence that you have over your social groups, and that increasing in the future. The star card can also be about hopes and dreams being fulfilled. Here in your hopes and fears, we have the mushroom. The mushroom in the upright, you can think about it kind of like going on a fantastical journey. So, unexpected situations, long lasting peculiar effects, unimaginable happenings, being guided by the stars. And that is in opposition to this entrapment. So if you are feeling trapped, you may be wishing and hoping that you will be able to have the freedom to go on adventures. Here in the midheaven, this is going to be the result of these hidden truths around you at this time. We have the hourglass in the reverse. Time is running out, I think. Yes, you are running out of time. This could be in a variety of different situations. It could be that you're running out of time until this happens, too. So, any loose ends that you would like to get wrapped up before that happens, that this is the time to do it. And that there are things that are being hidden from you at this time. So keep that in mind. And the final outcome. I had 2 cards pop out for this. This is kind of like the advice overall for the reading. We have the Hierophant, and then we also have the Secret Arcana of the Cat, which is number 4 and might be considered to be associated with the Emperor, perhaps. So the Hierophant is about social constructs. Oh, hi, Rat Birth Control. It's good to see you. Oh, Pat Birth Control. That's right. Pat Birth Control, BBC. Thank you. I bought this hat at Food for Less. It's been a while. It's good to see you again. So, Gemini, the Hierophant can be marriage, but it can be other institutions. And it can be institutional social norms represented here. So perhaps trying to fit in with institutional social norms, but also there are aspects of the Hierophant that have to do with being an intermediary between the higher power and the populace at large. And that might kind of be where you're headed at this time. The Cat card is number 4. Number 6. The more you see, the less you know. So the more information that you have about a particular situation, the less you're going to be sure of that situation. Now, that's not necessarily to say, like, just put your head in the sand, but keep in mind that some of these truths are being hidden from you, possibly as a matter of clarity. That as long as you're only able to see the portion that is right in front of your face, that things will be much more clear. But I feel like they are about to get much more complicated. We are running out of time on that. So that is going to conclude the Gemini reading for this week. And now I'm going to be moving on to the sign of Libra. Libra, 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 Libra. And you could have any kind of Libra placement that you want to investigate, or even if you, Libra governs the 7th house, which has to do with partnerships. So, and legal cases and things like that. So, also keep in mind what the different astrological signs represent, because you might resonate with that energy depending on your situation as well. All right, Libra. So, if any of the things surrounding the situations in your life that you've come here for guidance, if any of those things are stressing you out or causing you discomfort at this time, I invite you to gently breathe through that energy. As you inhale, draw in the divine light of Source. Let it bounce through your electron transport chain in your mitochondria, and let it pick up all of that negative energy. And then just expel with your breath any of those stressful feelings or discomfort, anything you're ready to let go of, Libra. It will be returned to Source, and it will be transmuted. So now we have these. We have the cards laid out. Let me write down your timestamp. Excuse me. Okay. So here in the past, Libra, we have some victory, we have some mobility. This is the 6 of Wands. And this would have been something that occurred in the past and now is passing out of your life. But the influence will still be felt, of course, into the current situation. So the 6 of Wands is also very much like the Chariot card, where we have a lot of mobility and a lot of victory and success coming through your life. It could have been a period of time where you got accolades or you were being celebrated for something in particular. Here in the current situation, you're still very much riding high as the King of Wands in the current situation, Libra. This is air of fire energy, so you may also have fire sign energy in your chart. The King of Wands is somebody who leads through their charismatic nature, somebody who's very persuasive and appeals to people's passions. And so that's showing up for you in the place of the significator, Libra. We also have crossing that energy, the scream. And I believe in the upright, this has to do with listening, being a good listener. Let's see. Okay. Quiet your voice to hear. So maybe even part of your appeal as the King of Wands is that you're an exceptionally good listener at this time, Libra. You're able to hear somebody out, and it makes you that much more appealing, charismatic, and able to guide them through that situation. And it could just be one person, but it could be an entire group of people counting on you in that way. And you, of course, would be approaching this with your Libra nature, being able to see all sides of the situation. Down in the Imam Silai, you are evaluating the work and energy that you are putting into a certain situation and balancing that against what you're getting out of it. So the pentacles are material resources, but they also represent the pentacles also represent like things like your energy. So it's not the wands type of energy where it's your passion, it's an active energy that you're putting into things. The pentacles is like the energy that you expend the way that you spend currency. That there's supposed to be kind of an equal give and take. The way that you pay for goods and services and then you receive those goods and services. So right now you're trying to decide if the effort and work that you're putting into something is worth what you're getting out of it. From your perspective, we have the Page of Swords in the reverse, Libra. So you might be perceiving at this time that you're receiving a lot of misinformation. This could be lies. It could be intentional misdirection. It could also be unintentional misdirection or omission of the truth. And there might be some area in which it will be important for you to gain information about something. From an outside person's perspective, looking in on your life, Libra, we have the Six of Pentacles. And the Six of Pentacles is about an even give and take overall. It's not totally balanced because you see, this person, they do have the scales in their hand, but they're giving to these people who have far less than they do out of charity, out of the goodness of their heart. They're doing this, right? So you might gain that perspective from other people, but you might not be believing what you are seeing from them. Maybe you don't believe that somebody's as hard up as they say they are. It could be that you don't recognize the energies that are being returned to you because maybe not all of them are coming back to you in tangible material form. Here in the future, we have friendship coming in for you. And this card, the Three of Cups, this could be like a close-knit friend group. It can sometimes represent polygamy, either consensual or what I like to call non-consensual polygamy, where somebody is not willing to admit to themselves that they want to have multiple partners and is unable to properly communicate their desires and needs within their relationship. And so we end up with Joey Greco showing up and shoving cameras in people's faces. And but it doesn't have to be like that. But everybody has to be on the same page. And where we're looking at the Three of Cups, Everybody is very much on the same page. Everybody is sharing their substance equally among each other. They actually have very good boundaries, right? Because none of them are grasping the other's chalices. They're not wantonly pouring between the chalices. Everybody's expressing really good boundaries in this situation. Healthy boundaries, good, healthy relationships coming through in your future, Libra. And this is something that might have been brought in from this period of time where you had a lot of success, a lot of mobility, possibly a lot of accolades. Here in your hopes and fears, we do have the Tower. And the Tower is a card about everything falling apart. You're afraid everything's going to fall apart. And you might be receiving misinformation about that. You might be under the impression that for some reason, bad things are about to happen, or something's going to fall through, or there's going to be destruction or a big disaster. And maybe you're hoping that things will be able to be restructured. I think that's kind of the key to the Tower in the hopes and fears, is not that you're hoping for disaster or necessarily fearing disaster, but you're hoping for a vast remodel. And that is going to involve a lot of demolition work. Here in the midheaven for you, Libra, so because you're making this evaluation at this time, I do think that you're going to decide not to bring something to an end. I do think it's your call to make, because you're showing up as the King of Wands here, right? Charismatic leader. So there might be a situation that if you wanted to, you could be the one to bring it to an end. But it looks like you might be deciding not to do that. And here in the final outcome, we have the Two of Cups in the reverse. Now, the Two of Cups in the reverse, in this position, because this is kind of like your warnings, your advice, and it's in opposition to this Six of Pentacles in the upright, where you're offering things to other people. There might be a warning about an imbalance of power, making it inappropriate to have a relationship with somebody. This can be a love relationship, but it can be like any time that somebody is getting very close to another person. And remember what I was saying about having good boundaries with people with that Three of Cups. So the Two of Cups here showing up in the reverse. These people are about to cross a boundary. They've gotten comfortable enough with each other that they are able to open up more boundaries. But this might be a situation where it's more important to maintain, especially emotionally speaking and regarding your substance and your ichor, that you maintain good boundaries with a person. And I think this has to do with them coming to you for help with something, potentially, regarding energy or regarding finances. So that is going to conclude the Libra reading for this week. I will be going after this live stream is concluded and doing a members only video live stream. If that interests you, you're cordially invited. But your presence here on the channel is greatly appreciated in whatever form it takes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That includes likes, shares, subscriptions, clicking the little bell icon so you know when I go live. All of those things, the comments. I greatly appreciate all of your support. And of course, the support of the channel members makes this channel possible. So now we're going to read for the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius, 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 Aquarius. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. All right. If you would like, go ahead, set your intention, Aquarius, and allow any associated thoughts or ideas to rise up into the forefront of your mind and wait there patiently while I shuffle the cards. And Aquarius, if anything about these situations is causing you discomfort or anxiety or stress, I invite you to gently breathe through that energy. As you inhale, draw in the divine light of Source, along with the oxygen molecules, and allow that source energy to bounce right through your electron transport chain in your mitochondria. And then just expel any of those negative emotions and feelings that you'd like to let go of with your breath. They will return to Source and they will be transmuted. And again, I've got 2 cards for your final outcome. So let me write down your timestamp. Okay. And let's get started. Here in the past, Aquarius, we have the Devil. This card is in the reverse. So there might have been a period for you where it was important to conquer certain urges, to curb compulsions or obsessions. And you did that successfully, Aquarius, and are now able to move into the current energy unencumbered by those baser emotions. In the place of the significator, Aquarius, we have the 9 of Cups, which is wonderful energy. This is the wish fulfillment card, so you can even make a wish if you desire. All of these represent the substance that this person has collected of themselves and made available. The Queen of Swords here, speaking one's truth and having others adhere to that truth. So this is water of air energy. This is very much your energy, Aquarius. Showing up here in the reading, but it's showing up as the crossing energy. So I don't think that you're running into every situation as the Queen of Swords, sword fully drawn, ready to chop somebody's head off. I think, though, that in order to maintain your wish fulfillment, you are being very adamant about your personal space and your needs. Down here in the MMCLI, we have another 9. It's a little confusing that you would get the 9 of Cups and then have it be immediately followed by the 9 of Swords. There's a lot of anxiety attached to this period of time in your life. There's a lot of possibly sleepless nights. You could be working a lot. With this 9 of Swords showing up in the MMCLI, that's going to be setting the foundation for your goal or destiny. So let's find out a little bit more about this. From your perspective, Aquarius, we have the 8 of Pentacles reversed. So you could be leaving a career field that you thought you would be in for the rest of your life, into perpetuity. You might have thought that that you were going to retire from this. And you might have determined once and for all that a particular field is not right for you. Here, from the outside perspective, looking in, we have the Wheel of Fortune. People see fortune turning to your favor at this time, that good things are coming in for you, whether you see that or not. And that really reinforces this wish fulfillment energy with the 9 of Cups. Here in the future, we have the Mirror. And this card is showing up in the reverse. So in the reverse, it can be a false reflection. And because it's in the future, remember that it's also a potential energy to be an upright. So there might be something right now that looks one way, but the closer that you get to it, the more you're going to see what it actually looks like, Aquarius. So keep that in mind. Sometimes from a certain distance, God and the devil can look very similar. Here in the hopes and fears, we have the Knight of Cups. And this card is showing up in the upright. You are hoping that somebody is rushing toward you to bring you that final cup of fulfillment that's going to fill out your set and bring you that 10 of Cups, emotional satiety and satisfaction. And there's kind of like a Cinderella sort of energy around this, that you're kind of waiting to be saved from this situation by somebody bringing you emotional support. It could be a potential partner, but it could be anybody, honestly. Emotional support comes from all kinds of places. The Knight of Cups in the upright, too, is being able to trust your heart and trust your gut. So if you have really been tied to this for a long time, but down in your gut, Aquarius, you know that it's time to move on. I hope that you will trust that intuition and not look as much at the empirical evidence. Because, as I said, right now, you're not seeing the accurate depiction. As you get closer, that's when you're going to see what's actually going on. Here in the midheaven, we have the Justice card in the reverse. Now remember, this being a future energy does have the potential to turn upright. This is Libra's card in the major arcana. And it's going to be the result of all of this anxiety. So, whether you have this anxiety or not, the result is going to be the same. There's going to be something that ends up being unfair about it uh, towards you, even though you've been very adamant about your needs in this situation, Aquarius. So there's really no reason to worry about it, honestly. Um, it's just kind of not going to be fair. But I don't think that it's going to end up badly. Sometimes unfair situations end up pushing us into something that ends up being much better for us in the long run. So I wouldn't take it too harshly, honestly. Your final outcome for this reading, Aquarius, we have Mars, and we also have the Three of Wands in the reverse. Mars is a very harsh environment. It has to do with war, discord, strife. Now, this is in opposition to this card of you, uh, people perceiving that fortune is turning to your favor. So, there could be some aspects of this that look like they would be very favorable for you. But the end result is going to be that the energies that you have expended are not being reciprocated. They're not being returned to you, Aquarius. This does have a lot of heavy relationship vibes, uh, especially if you have a broken engagement that's been very recent. But it could also be, like a job that you've been at forever and you do a great job, you show up on time, you go above and beyond, and then they promote somebody who does far less work over you. Or that you've kind of been taken advantage of in work situations. And it might be that because you have standards and you have made those opinions known, that they perceive you as uh, being quarrelsome or difficult, which is not necessarily an accurate reflection of the situation, Aquarius. I think that you are doing a great job. I think it's just that this particular situation is not going to reciprocate to you the effort that you put into it. And it's going to end up being overly harsh and not what you need overall. I'm also getting the vibe that people perceive you to be very fortunate to be in this situation. Because I'm not seeing like an Eight of Cups, like you might be walking away. We already had the Seven of Wands come out in the Gemini reading, so it's not going to be here. But that is not necessarily true. It's not like uh, if your employer is telling you to just be grateful for what you've got, um, that's not really fair, is it? Because I see here that you have a lot of you have a lot of potential to go much further. So, what might end up happening? Let me pull some extra cards for you, Aquarius, because this doesn't feel very resolved to me. Okay, so we have the flowers coming out, which is purity, innocence, simplicity. We have the wound. So you're walking around like everything is fine, but you've actually been cut very deep. And then finally, we have this about balance and about partnership. So, what you really need in a work situation, Aquarius, you need something that is going to be not very complex, be very straightforward, cut and dry. And you have been burned in the past. So I think you have a hard time trusting employers. And you need a situation that is more balanced. That somebody who is the supervisor or the boss of the company is not putting themselves like so far above these other people just because you started the company. You still need all those employees. So you need to find a place where there's a better balance of that distribution of power. And I think that that will bring you greater happiness moving forward. I do see a lot of happiness in the current situation, though. And because the Justice card is in the future, it does have the potential to turn upright. Possibly because we had that Nine of Swords, maybe you stop worrying about it so much. So it's a little from column A and a little from column B. Maybe both you and your employer need to work on finding more common ground with each other at this time. So that is going to conclude the air sign readings for this week. I want to thank all of you. Thank you so much for joining me for the readings today. Thank you for your likes, shares, subscribes, comments, chat messages. I hope that you have a wonderful remainder of your week, and I look forward to seeing you again very